Hey, it's good to have you back here with me again. Hope life's treating you alright, and well, I know things can get tough sometimes, but right now, this is a moment to take your mind off of things, relax, get a cool drink. I don't know, maybe you want a soda, maybe you want some iced tea, maybe you just like coffee, whatever you want. Well, today I've got the canvas turned vertical, so we're going to be painting something a little different than what we've been doing lately, because I've been doing a lot of horizontal canvases lately. As always, I've got the canvas covered with a very thin layer of titanium white, and we've only got three colors on the palette today. We've got chrome yellow, vermilion, titanium white, ultramarine, and we got this little mud color right over here. So let's go ahead and start ourselves off today with sky. I'm going to take my 2-inch brush today, and I know what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go through a little bit of the chrome yellow, and we're going to just pull out some of that white right there. Yeah, I want a real white color, okay? We're only painting this with three colors today, so this is going to be a little exciting just to see what happens. Just to see what happens. Should we get a little bit of the vermilion too? Ooh, just a little bit. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, I got a lot, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Ooh, here, let's pull out some more of that chrome yellow. There we go. We can use that nice little mix there for other things too, but let's just get this in the sky right now. Let's get this in the sky, okay? We're going to start right at the very top here. Okay. We've got kind of a really intense color going on. Really intense. All right? And I'm going to get a little bit more white in that. Now this is going to be a very light color, very light. When we do this with crisscross strokes, ooh, that's so thick that it's kind of sweeping paint back onto the palette. Oh, that's fun. That's so much fun. Here, you know what? If you don't get the color completely perfect on this, it's okay. It's okay. Don't let it worry you too much. Maybe this is like one of those days it's kind of all, the sun drenched, and the sun is coming around, and it's making us feel like, ooh, wow. Feels like things are going to burn out if that sky burns any brighter. Well, maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe it will. I don't know. Here, let's take this brush and set that aside for right now. Let's go ahead and, I don't know. Maybe we'll go in here, and maybe we'll just add a little bit of a layer of white down at the bottom. Okay. I'm just using a 1-inch. You can use a 2-inch if you want. Do whatever you want. Whatever you want is good. And then I'm gonna get my 2-inch brush here. I'm gonna pull out a little ultramarine. Okay. I'm gonna just pull that through that color. Ooh, that's exciting color right there. It kind of mixes with everything that we've just done, doesn't it? Okay. We're playing for keeps at this point, aren't we? Yeah. Maybe I want to get a little bit more ultramarine in there, just to get it a little bit more intense. We'll go down to, say, maybe about the bottom here. Okay. And we'll throw the sky in. There it goes. Maybe. We've got a little bit of a line here where the sky isn't quite turning yet. Maybe we do. If you do, maybe we can add a little bit more ultramarine in here. Throw it on this portion right here. Maybe we can go up in here. Now, I don't want to drag too much of that yellow down, because if I drag it down, it's going to start mixing all kinds of greens and stuff. It's not going to look quite right. And I think what I've got here is about good. So let's go ahead. Yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my 1-inch and wave across the canvas like this little canvas. There. And I'm doing it very lightly. I'm not grinding the color in. I'm not going to go way back up here and do it all over again. No. I'm not going to do that. What we do want to do right now is rinse off our brushes, because we just used all of our 2-inch brushes. We used all of our 1-inch brushes. We gotta clean things off. Otherwise, this painting can get real messy real fast. Okay. Show it who's boss. And what I do is I have a 5-gallon bucket here filled with odorless turpentine that I use to clean my brushes, and I have a grating at the bottom that I rub the brushes on. First I rub it, okay, get all the paint off, and then I tap it on the side of the bucket, give it a wipe with both sides of the brush, and I show it who's boss. Okay, and then for these two brushes, I haven't showed you this one yet. I haven't showed you. I wipe it on this big old roll of paper towels. I wish there was a more green way to clean off the brushes than this, but so far I haven't really found one, so I gotta use the paper towels, which does create a lot of waste, but you do as much as you can. I think the point of going a little greener is not necessarily eliminate all of your environmental impact here. Ooh. The hair is threatening to fall into my paint. We got a little bingo card going that happens. There's something of a checklist for what's going to happen every episode. There's a few things on there. And one of the things on that list is getting the hair in the paint and plucking it out. And, well, probably another one could be showing the brush who's boss. But that might as well be a free space, because I do that every episode. Every show I do that. There. We got one more brush we gotta clean off, and then we can get going with stuff. Okay. And another one on the bingo card, I guess, is I hoot like an owl. Or maybe there's a drip of the color, because sometimes the colors get real oily. Never gets old. Never ever. The day that gets old is the day I pack it in. Okay. So let's make some decisions now. We gotta get out the big old palette knife, I think, because we got some stuff we gotta do. Let's go ahead and... Ooh. Am I getting any paint on my shirt yet? That's another one on the bingo card. Do I have any paint on my shirt yet? I don't think I do. Let's get some of that ultramarine right there. Ultramarine blue, okay? Then maybe let's get a little bit of that mud color. Now this mud color over here is a color that I use that's just made up of all the colors that I have in the palette, okay? And what I do with it is I just use it to have ready-made neutrals, so I don't have to go ahead and pull a bunch of yellow out and stuff. And that's really all that's for. That's all that's for. That's no big deal. Here, let's get some more blue in there. Yeah, we got that. Yeah, we got that. Okay. Now what we're mixing up here is just a dull yellowish, or not yellowish, but violet color. And I want it to have a little bit more red than blue here. And now we're going to pull that out, cut across, and now we're going to make some more big decisions. What we can do is we can go right about here, and then maybe up here, right about there. And we can start making a few measurements and stuff so we can really know where everything's going to be. Yeah, we could do that. We can do that. Maybe this is going to be right about here. And maybe this is going to be right about here. Okay? Yeah, we can do that. Now that I have those points established, it makes it a lot easier for me to figure out where things are going to be and stuff. What I can do first, though, is I can get like I don't know, I can just get some color in here and start waving it around and, maybe we got a bunch of clouds and stuff up in here. And if we do, whatever, we can just let this brush dance and we can go ahead and we don't have to adhere to anything. And maybe we got the cloud going down in here too. I don't know. We got clouds going every which way, don't we? That's right, we sure do. We can take that 1 inch now and decide where the sun is coming from. I think it's coming from just about overhead here, so we can give this a little floof, just like that. Floof, 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 floof. Yeah, let's be quiet so we can hear it. Okay. Let's just beat the devil. Beat the devil, show it who's boss. And then we'll go along the bottom of this thing here. Yeah. I just missed out a few of these clouds here. You know, they're kind of hanging out up there. They're not super visible. And they're really not the focus anyway, so we're not gonna worry about them too much. We're not gonna worry about them at all. Okay. Alright. Now with that, let's go ahead with our palette knife. And now that we've got all this established, let's go ahead now. Right there. And then just like that. And over this way, we'll go again. Oh yeah, we're doing some bold and daring stuff. And there's going to be another one that's probably going to go right about, ooh, I'm deciding. It's probably going to go right about here. Right about there. If I can get some paint on the knife. Yeah, sometimes the paint is going to play tricks on you. I keep telling you, you gotta watch out for these colors. These colors will play tricks on you all day long. They're mischievous, these colors. They've got a mind of their own. You can't give them 1 inch. Not one. Otherwise, they'll fool around on you. Alright. And let's not worry too much about this color being all dark and everything, because this color is actually going to get much lighter once we finally start applying all the colors properly and everything. This is just a nice little base color. Nice little base color. And we're going to brush it out too. We're going to brush it out. Because you want to have a smooth surface when you start doing this. When you start, really painting and inserting all the highlights and everything, you want to have yourself a smooth surface. Okay? But you got to establish that shape first. That's why we're blocking it in. Makes it a lot easier to paint these kinds of things when you take the time to block in these darks and then go over it with highlights. Okay? Now if you notice, when you mix a very orange-red like vermilion and ultramarine blue, you get yourself a very dull purple. But that's okay. You don't always want a bright purple. Sometimes you want one that's a little dull. That's okay. That's exactly what we want, actually. Okay, let's go over here and we'll just cut that in right there. Yep, there it is. And we'll make some more definitive features in a second. Okay. Alright, I think we've got... Do we have enough going on here? Do we have enough? I think we might. There's some extras that we can throw in, like maybe we can go up here and, decide on the top of this thing. Maybe this, oh yeah, there's a top of the lighthouse that's going to be right about here. Now remember, we're looking up at it, so it's going to have kind of a funky shape, right? Right, so maybe it's kind of following the little lines that we've established here, and so, yeah, just like that. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that nice? Here. Ooh, did you see that? Ooh, well, we got a little bit of we got a renegade right there. That's what that one is. It's okay. That's okay. We'll just bring this up a little bit and give that a little correction. There it goes. See? That's all there is to it. It's all good. You don't have to worry none at all. And there we go. Now we can go back in and put all the rails and stuff later once we're finally done with all this other stuff. Putting all those rails in is really no big deal. It's nothing. Here, let me set my palette down for one moment. Okay. There it goes. Here. Oops. Did I get a little bit of paint on my palette? Yeah, I got a little bit of paint on there. Here, let me put my palette knife aside. Let me grab a piece of the paper towel. Ooh, this one's fresh. That's why it's so hard to tear off. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and play that game. I'll take your gamble, Mr. Paper Towel Roll. That's all there is to it. See, I don't worry none, because I know what to do. It's just a matter of doing it. And I think you know what to do, too. A lot of people don't realize sometimes that they already know how to paint. They just need to be encouraged to. Maybe you've got a lot of pictures already in you. Maybe you don't really need my help. I don't know. Maybe you've been painting for years and you just need to get back into it. Well, that's why I do this, just to give you a little bit of motivation. Or maybe you need a little bit of guidance. Whatever. Okay, let's take our... Okay, that's got no paint on it, so it's good. Let's just take our 2-inch brush here and pull all this stuff around. Because we want this to be pretty flat. We don't want this to be like real thick paint. No, you get thick paint now, and it's going to hurt you later. You're going to be in agony if you try to... Brr. That's the sound I make when I think of thick paint too early. It's too early in the day for thick paint, isn't it? Yeah, give it another, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. We'll see how we feel about thick paint then. Okay, we got a nice block in there, don't we? Yeah, we do. And like I say, we're not going to worry about washing our brushes quite yet, because this is going to be a lot of knife work here. We'll just wipe some of that excess on there. And let me take my, you know what? I'll take my small knife on this one, so I don't have to clean that quite yet. It's helpful to have multiple versions of different tools. I'll take my little palette knife right now. Let's take the little palette knife, and well, we already got a color that we're working with right here, and I think is going to look pretty spiffy. So let's just add a touch of the vermilion here. I don't know if that's quite a touch. It's more like a dab. But I guess we're kind of splitting hairs, aren't we? Here, let's get a little bit of that, and let's get some of that white in there. Come on, give me a little bit more white than that. Sometimes these colors fool around me, and I know they're doing it. We have fun, these colors and I. We really do. And you know what I say, you always want to mix up more color than you think you need. And, oh, look at that. We got one for the bingo card. We got a hair in the paint. Hair in the paint. It never fails. Well, as I say, this is one of the trials and tribulations of having long hair. Yep. Just one of those things. Okay. Got ourselves a nice little orange here. We want a little bit more yellow on this orange than we do the vermilion. I'm actually falling in love with this orange right here. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Okay, that's good. We don't need to overmix it. But let's go ahead and... Yeah, that's there. When you mix out this paint, pull it out and get yourself a little bit right on the edge there. I'm checking I didn't get paint on my pants, and thank goodness I didn't. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead now. And right this way, we might have gotten a little bit more. Okay. There. There it goes. Yep. Maybe this is the way this lighthouse is going to go. Don't ever be ashamed to get more paint if you think you need it. I just got my white paint on my easel there. Well, that's a new one for me, I think. I can't say I've gone ahead and gotten too much paint on the easel just by smashing my palette against it. So that's a fun one, new one to add to the bingo card right there. Did I get my paint on the easel? I don't know. Now I'm wondering now if I'm going to have to get more white paint later on. Yeah. I don't like to get more paint while I'm filming, while I'm creating this, because you know, it's a little different when I'm doing it, because I'm on a little bit of a time schedule here. I'm on a timetable. Here, let's go ahead and cut across right here, and right about there, okay. So now we can feel free to throw all this color down, okay? Oops. I got a little bit of paint in my hand. Well, if you got your bingo card out, you can go ahead and cross off. I got paint on my hand. Should have known that was coming. I bet you knew it was coming, didn't you? Yeah, you did. You devil. That's right, I called you a devil. What you gonna do about it? Alright. Yeah, we're just having fun here. We're just making sure we got a little bit of this color covering what we're, our base color here. Remember, you want to keep that base color thin so that this comes off a little more easily. Now, if it gets a little bit mottled, if it gets a little bit textural while you're creating it, it's okay. Don't freak out, because it's perfectly normal. Just tell yourself it's perfectly normal. Okay. Now, what I will do once this is over is I think I'll take my 1-inch brush again and I'll go across all this paint and give it just a light grazing. And I'll smooth it out, and then we'll know that everything is a-okay, right? Right. Ooh, we're getting some bright color in there, aren't we? Here. Sometimes the colors change when you don't mix them completely, which is actually a really attractive quality, I think. You get all kinds of surprises when you do things that way. Alright. Here we go. Okay. There it goes. Okay. I think I need to mix up a little bit more color now because, like I say, you want to mix up more than you think you need, and I didn't get enough. Well, if that happens to you, don't freak out. Don't freak out. Just go ahead and, what I can do, I can go ahead and just grab a little bit of this white right off the edge of my palette, or my easel. Look at that. Look at that. How much did I really get on there? It doesn't look like I got a lot. That's fun, though. That's a fun little... I don't even know if that's a trick. That's just something I decided to do right then and there. Yeah, let's get a touch of the vermilion in there. And we want to... Now, a trick to remixing a color. The trick to remixing a color is to not get rid of everything that you already did, right? You want to try to keep a lot of the integrity of that color, and then you want to see if you match it up, okay? And maybe I need a little bit more white on that. But I think that looks pretty close. That actually looks really close. Well, close enough for rock and roll, right? Yeah. Let's go ahead and slap that on. Yeah, see? It's no big deal. That color's already looking a little pretty good. If you want, you can get a touch more of the vermilion in there. Okay. And you gotta be careful because the vermilion is really strong. Very, very strong. Alright. There. If the color is a little bit different, it's not going to hurt anything. You just want to get a little bit more of it all over what you've already done. Okay? There it goes. Okay. Now look at all that. Look at all that. Ooh, that is so pretty. So pretty. What's funny is that this lighthouse is actually a red color, but when the light hits it just right, it does really pretty things. Like it turns the whole lighthouse a little bit of a shade of orange like this if the light just hits it just right. Here, let me get that paint off my hand because I don't want it to get all over my palette. There I go. Yeah, I'm giving myself encouragement at this point. Okay, let's go over to say right, ooh, I know, right here, okay? And then that little support is going to be just there, okay? That's all there is to it. I think the number one thing you really need to have when you do a project like this is just confidence. Just confidence helps a lot. Because I think that a lack of confidence will hold you back just as much as anything else. Okay, now look at that. Look at that. Now, what we're going to do is just pull this very gently all across. And we're not going to smear it. We're We're not going to smear it. We're just going to pull it down and across. Down and across. Just like that. And if you want, you can get out a round brush for this, because sometimes round brushes work a little better for this kind of thing. There we go. There we go. Now we've got a bunch of stuff, other little details that we can throw in here. Okay? So, hold on to your hats. But we're already making great headway. I've got no complaints at all. Now, be sure you save that color. If you want, you can get a little bit of it over here. Although we might want to save some space over there to create our mid-tone color. We're going to need a little bit of an orange for that one. And then a little bit of blue to go along with it. Okay. So right about, we're going to start making some more huge decisions. But I think I'm going to go ahead and just get a little bit more of that dark color with my other knife. This is why I have two knives going right now. Okay. I'm gonna go over here, right to that edge, and just pull that out a little bit more. Okay. And I'll do that right over here too. I'll just, we'll pull out this way. There it goes. There it goes. On a textured canvas like this, it could be easier to get out the round brush, which would not be a terrible idea, honestly. Okay, and now we got this. There it goes. Let's try to make sure this lines up with this down here, okay? And that way. It's going to look much nicer. Now where do I think the midpoint on this lighthouse is going to be? Maybe right about there? Yeah, maybe right about there. If it's right about there, that's good. I can use the little side of my knife to go ahead and get that. Very nice. Okay. Whew. See, that's how you know it's hard. I'm hooting like an owl already. Whew. Okay. And like I say, if you ever want to recreate that color, just get a little bit of the ultramarine and some of that vermilion, and it'll take you right where you need to go. Okay, now we need to decide where our midway point is going to be, and the midway point is probably going to be right about yay high, and right about here. There it goes. Alright. Well, that was probably a little bit more exaggerated than it really needed to be, but I think we got the point across right here. Okay. Alright. So let's go ahead, touch that dark over to these to really make that underside shine. And now we'll go up here. We'll go up here, pretend that we've got, you know, a little bit of a window thing up there. And we'll do some more of this carving in, just to let us know this is where it's supposed to be. If you want, you can use the corner of your brush, or not your brush, but your knife, to really scratch that paint out. Because sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes you need to. Okay? Alright. I might have to go with my liner brush to really know where I'm going there. And then right about here. There it is. Searching. That's what I'm doing. Searching. Okay, and this other part of the door is going to be right about here. Yeah. It's going to go right to about here. Yeah. There. That's what that's going to look like. Okay. Alright. Right there. Here's where that goes. Okay. Now, what I think I might want to do is get some more of that blue and that vermilion. And like I said, use a little bit of the green too, because why not? You know, that mud green that we got. It's a really useful green, honestly. And I'll get a little bit more of the ultramarine, because why not? Sometimes things need to be a little darker. I'll get a little touch of that chromio too. There it goes. There it goes. And a little bit more of that ultramarine blue. Just to mix up some more of this dark color we got. Now, I guess the most important part is that it needs to be in the ballpark, not that it needs to be perfect, okay? I got that. I got that, okay? Okay. Now, let's go ahead here. And, what do I want to do you think? What do you think? Well, let's go ahead and add some highlights to the top here. We don't have to do the darks right now. Let's go ahead and add highlights to the top of this doodad right up here. Just like that. That's pretty handsome, right? Yeah, I like the look of that. I like the look of that. Now we're going to have to mix up a middle tone pretty soon here, just so we can get some stuff going. Well, let's go ahead now and just wipe some of that off, and maybe we can put the palette down and concentrate on drawing a little bit more. Well, actually, I should really do the middle tone, shouldn't I? Yeah, let's go ahead and do the middle tone. So, what we're going to do for the middle tone is take some of this color, some of this dark color, all right? Some of that, and we're going to take the yellow and the red, and like I say, we want more than we think we're going to need. So I'm going to take a lot of it. In fact, I'll take some of it from down here too. There it goes. There it goes. So what this is going to be is kind of in, well, I want a lot more. I think I want a lot more vermilion in this for the shadow colors. Now it's not going to be dominantly vermilion, but it's going to have a lot of vermilion in it, okay? I want to have a lot of yellow in there. Lots of yellow. And lots of vermilion. I probably got too much of the dark color, because really what I just wanted to do was tone the dark color down. I think I've got a pretty respectable color going here now. Yeah, I think this is what I was going for. Something that looks a little brighter here. Ooh, that's too much. That's too much. Here, let's go ahead and just slap some of that right up there. I just want a little bit. And now I can take a little bit more if I want it. There. Okay. All right, this is looking good. This is looking good. Let's pull that out. Pull it out. Cut across. Okay. That's all we need to do. We can set the palette down for right now. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start at the top here, and I'm going to go around. You know what might help here? I might need my liner brush with a little bit. Well, let's put this palette knife down. There. Let me get my liner brush, because this is not fluid enough for me. No, this is not fluid enough for me. There's what I'm doing. I'm taking the liner brush, and I'm just letting that glide through the paint, and I'm rolling it around, and I'm getting it to a liquid-like consistency. And this is what I want here. This is what I want. to get that paint and just drag it across here and watch it how it just comes off. That's the way to do it. Now that's so much easier. That's so much easier. Here. There it goes. Effortless. That's what we really want from a painting like this is, well, not a lot of effort. Here, we can go ahead and cross this one too. Oops. Do I need a little bit more? Do I need a little bit more of the odorless turpentine? Oh, I might. Well, let's find out how this is going to work. Okay. Well, maybe up in here we got something going on. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we got... right about here is where I want to stop that. Okay. And now we've got these little things happening down here. There. Okay. Very good. Let's see. Can I get this? Yep, we got it. We're just going over all these little things and adding this little accent of a shadow color. This is a middle tone color. I know I keep saying it, but that's what it is. It's just a middle tone color. It helps separate all these lights from all the other things. These little darks and things that we got. These violet darks. It's turning this lighthouse a very interesting shade. Okay. Here. Let's do some drawing here. Go across. And maybe right about here to here. We've got a little bit of something happening. Because maybe there's some supports underneath the lighthouse that are crossing. Okay? And we've got one that crosses from here to about here. Okay? Alright, so if that happens, we'll just drag this over. There it goes. And the rest of this can be a little bit more of a shade. Let's say that we've got, maybe this is going to cover a lot of this. Okay? Yeah, maybe we've got a lot of stuff that looks like that. Maybe we've got this little thing down here. I don't know what to call it, but it's a support underneath the lighthouse. And maybe we can think of a new color. Because maybe this has got more colors than we think it does. Maybe it does. I don't know. You know what I might need here? Let's go ahead and set that brush aside. Now, there's a reason I have that little ledge on my easel, you know, so I can use it for things. Here, let's get this big old round brush. I want to just get it going. I want to show it who's boss right before I start painting with it, just to let it know, no funny business. There we go. Okay. Now we'll run this through the paint. In fact, let's get it a little liquidy. I don't know. Is that a word? It is now. It wasn't before. Okay. Here. brushes. Things come off so much easier when you use a round brush. You know that? Things tend to come off a lot easier. And I do like it like that. Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of an edge right here where there's going to be some stuff coming off again. And let's imagine that maybe that's got some stuff happening right there, and this is going to go right to about, right here. So let's do this right there. Okay. I'm searching for the angle of the staircase that we have on this. Okay, so that's going to go to right about here. Alright. Yeah, try not to blend too much. Try not to blend. Yeah, there we go. That's what it looks like when we paint layers, baby. Whew. Okay. Now that is no small feat that we just painted that. Ooh. Whew. Whew, that's tricky. Yeah, I know. That is tricky business right there. But we did it. We did it. Alright, now let's go ahead and maybe let's go ahead and take a little bit more of that paint right there. And we'll go right up here. And give this a little bit of a little touch right there. There it goes. There she goes. I'm choking up on the brush a little bit too much. Truth be told, you have a little bit more control when you don't choke up on the brush so much. But sometimes, you know, sometimes you make a habit of it. It's one of those habits that's a little tough to break. Here. Go over that way. And down here. Down here. Okay. Just like that. Just like that. Alright, maybe we got a little bit of an edge over here, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a petty little thing to put in, but I put it in anyway. I put it in anyway, I know. Here, let me just put this one in too. Okay. There we go. Okay. Little hummingbird. Okay. We have fun here. Don't let anyone ever say we don't have fun, because we have so much of it. Okay, I'm going to save those colors that I created. I don't want to ruin all those colors, but I do want to get out this palette knife here. We got to scratch a few things in. Alright, so it's time to do the drawing portion again. So it doesn't matter how you hold your knife, but you want to make some marks as sort of a guidepost for yourself, alright? So let's go ahead and decide where the first post is going to be. The first post is probably going to be about yay high. Yeah, about halfway like this. Maybe, yeah. Maybe like that, okay? Then it's going to go up to about here. Yeah, that's good. It's going to go up to about there, and then it's going to stop. Maybe it's angled a little higher. If it is, yeah, scratch it out. You want to scratch out paint that you don't need. Scratch out paint that you don't need. Because it's a lot easier to paint if you scratch out the paint you don't need. Yeah, there's just that little guide right there, and then we're going to put another little guide right about there. Right about there. Okay? And this one's going to go right about there. Alright. Now from here, our guide is going to go to about right here. Yeah, right here. Okay. There we go. And then right about here is where our gets to go. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath as you're doing this, because I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I'm taking a deep breath for you and myself. Because let me clue you, this is not the easy stuff. This is the big kid stuff right here. Did you know that? Yeah. This is the stuff that so many people have a hard time with. So many people have a hard time with. But we're doing it. We're doing it. Okay, so then we've got a little bit of a thingy here. Yeah, thingy. That really narrows it down, right? Okay. Yeah, our staircase is going to be going right about here. Alright. And some of what we paint is going to get probably a little covered up, right? Because our staircase is going to be going right about across this way, alright? Okay. Just like that. Yeah. That's really the goal right now, is to get all this stuff in here. Okay. Our second step is going to be right about here. Alright. Our next step is probably going to be right about, ooh, we got that step there, and that step is going right about here, and this step is going right about there. Whew. Whew. No pressure. Okay. Let's go ahead with that middle tone color that we got. And let's paint in some of these things right here. Now, we have to paint the dark first to show the light, right? Okay. Well, that's just what we'll do. Okay. Now imagine, since we are painting in this, and then we'll paint in the next step. We'll try not to completely ruin everything that we've already done here. You want to try to follow all those guidelines, and you try to want to maintain a sense of perspective as you do this. Like, notice how this step is going to be sticking out further than the door on this side. On this side, it's going to be sticking out a little further, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it is. But also, don't be afraid if you mess it up a little bit, because, you know, we are going to be covering up a few things. Okay. Okay. But we are getting to the point where we need to start thinking about trying not to screw up. It's always easier said than done, right? Yeah, I know it is. There. There. Alright, we've got some dark colors there on our steps. Alright? Alright. Actually, let's go in now with the little side of that knife. The little side, like that. Okay. And you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? Right now, I'm going to wipe off this knife. Okay. And I'm going to go up here and create a fourth color for what we need. Now, I got a little bit of red. I should have got a little bit of yellow first. So let's get that chrome yellow there. And let's just mix it up. And let's not add any white to this, I don't think. I think we're going to keep this one pretty close to the chest. Now we want a fair amount of the vermilion in there, alright? So it's going to be a pretty orange color. I want to say it's going to be more of a middle orange style color, alright? So look at against that, it looks much brighter. Much brighter. But we might add a touch of white. I'll just add a little bit of a touch. I don't want to get it so bright that, you know, it starts jiving against, you know, that. Or it doesn't jive, rather. Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty good color. We'll add just one more touch of vermilion. And then one more for good measure. I know. Going real hard on the vermilion right now, huh? Okay. Alright. So right here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this middle tone color, just smear it out. And we're not going to get rid of anything. We're not going to get rid of anything. We're going to keep that color around because we're going to use it. We're going to use a lot. I mean, it'd be a terrible thing if we made that color up just to not use it, right? Well, that might put a damper on the plans, and that would have been a huge waste of time just then. So there is that. Okay, now let's go ahead and, ooh, I'm going to get that clean knife. I think I want the clean knife for this one here. Let's get this color. Alright, so let's take just that clean color, and we can take a little bit of that, smear it out, and we just want to graze the edge of this to really give it a highlight. Okay, look at that, look at that. Yep, you just want to touch the edge. That's how we're going to do it here. That's how we're going to get it done. Okay, and just like that. Perfect. Well, it ain't perfect, but it is what it is. Okay. Yeah, like I say, we have fun. Alright. So let's take that other middle tone color right about there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to kind of brush it in various places, like right here. Maybe I want to get a little bit on the edges and stuff, and maybe up in here. I want to get in between the steps, just like this. Alright. Maybe. Well, I'm thinking about what I want to do here in this next part. You know what I might do? I'm going to set this brush aside right there, because we're going to come back to it. And then I'm going to take this dark paint on this particular knife, and right here I'm going to brush that in very lightly, okay? And then we'll go all the way down to here, okay? So let's try to keep that clean. A little bit of a curve there, huh? Yeah, don't let it scare you. Don't let it scare you none. Okay. That's how we take care of that. Yeah. Just adjust things now and then. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There. Just like that. Just like that. And right here. Okay. There goes. There goes. Okay. So now we've got some railing going, thank goodness. Where do we think the rest of these are going to be? Well, if we follow our perspective a little bit, by little I do mean a little bit, we'll have some rails that go right about right there. Okay, we'll say, yeah, right about there. Right about there. And then they'll go right here, this way. Yep. Whew. It's okay to hoot like an owl sometimes, because sometimes this stuff gets tough. This is no joke. This is no joke. And we'll go right here, right about there. And we'll get another of those little rails right there. And right about here. I haven't even made the rail yet, but I'm already making the sound effect. Yep. It's gonna be one of those days. I feel already. Okay. Look at that. Now, let's take a rail right here and scratch it. All the way down. Well, let's give it a little bit more of an angle. Say like so. Okay. Just like that. And maybe right here we'll have another little bit of an angle going that way. Okay. Just like that. And you know, we got that one, and maybe we've got, oh, this one right here. Okay. Good, 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 good. Now, we can put all that color aside. It's still good, so we're not going to get rid of it. You don't want to get rid of your colors whenever possible. You always want to try to keep your colors, because you never know when they might be useful. You might want that color later, and then all of a sudden you got rid of it, and ooh, it's gonna be tough. And how are you gonna paint these rails here so that the people don't fall off the staircase? Got to have some safety measures on this thing. People are gonna inevitably go up there and check on things, right? Right. Okay. Let's go right here. Let me get out. Let me get out my round brush. Because sometimes you gotta take some measures. And right here, like that. Okay. Okay. Just like that. There it goes. There it goes. Looking so lovely. So lovely. Okay. Alright, we got that happening. Now, let's take our liner brush. Here, set that right there. Take the liner brush and wash this one off. Okay. Now we'll go into this color right here, this real light orange color that we made, alright? And maybe then we'll go into the white. That's right, we'll go into the white. We'll take it into the white instead of bringing the white to it, because we want this color to be very light. We want it to be very light, okay? Let me look at that. It's hard to argue with results like that. Okay. Okay. And a little bit more of that, please. A little bit more of that, please. Because this is going to be slick. Okay. Alright, now, where do I want to? Oh, I know. Let's go ahead and do this other side now. Just like that. If you have to go and get a little bit more of that bright orange color that we mixed earlier, go ahead. There's no law saying you can't. This is your painting. If you want to go ahead and mix up some more of it, or if you need to get more of it to paint your picture, go right ahead. Alright, let's start right here. And we'll take it down. Take it down. Come on, just a little bit more. A little bit more. There it goes. That's the way. Okay. And maybe we'll add a little bit of a line right out here. Okay. Now that's looking pretty good. That's looking nice. Okay. Let's go ahead now. Maybe get some of that orange color. And run the liner brush rolled around in there. And now we'll just go in here. And I don't know if that's liquid enough. If it's not liquid enough, get some more of that color. And then just drag it down. Gracefully. There. Okay. There. Okay. Let's get a little bit more. It's important to get this real runny. Still don't have it runny enough. This is getting to be some thick paint here, huh? There we go. Now it's getting runny. It might take you a couple of tries to get that paint as runny as you want. Here. It's one of those times where we have to remind ourselves that thin paint generally sticks to a thick paint. That's the plan. Does it always work so well? No, maybe not. Maybe not, but you still try. Okay. Let's get some more. Let's get some more. Okay. Now that's looking pretty nice. Alright. Well, what can we do in here, I wonder? Well, why don't we just take some of that regular old color and throw that down right here. That looks pretty nice. That doesn't look bad at all. We can just leave it like that. Okay. It's great when a plan comes together, right? Right. Here. We don't necessarily want to beat around the liner brush, but we do want to do some stuff with it, you know? Oh yeah. So we'll go down in here, and just to make this stand out a little bit, we'll insert some of that mid-tone color. Throw it around in here. Maybe we don't want to lose that sense of form in there. Okay. Yeah, sometimes you don't want to lose your form. Okay. Right in here, this is one of those times when we don't want to lose our sense of form. Well, that's why I'm painting all these little things right here. All these little things right now. Just like that. Okay. Now maybe we want to get a little bit more of the vermilion in here. And the white. You know what, this is probably better suited for Here, let me set aside my liner brush right there. This kind of work is probably better suited for the round here. Get a little bit of the white, and a little bit of the vermilion, and go into that color right there. Okay. If it needs a little bit of yellow, just slap that in. Okay. Sometimes it needs a lot of yellow. Yeah, chrome yellow. He sure does enjoy getting pushed around sometimes. You know that? Here. There. That's looking a little better. That's looking a little better. Now let's go in here and ooh. Look at all that. Very nice. Very nice. Here, we'll do some of that down here too. Okay. There we go. And maybe a little bit right here. Okay. And then we'll just mix a little bit of it with the dark color right here to kind of spice it up down in this little section. Right, like that. Okay. There we go. Alright. And maybe. Show it who's boss. Give it a little bit of a wipe on the paper towels there, and we'll add a little bit of the white color to, ooh, this is actually a nice color what we got here. Maybe if we get a little bit more of this, and, ooh, this is unexpectedly nice. Here. Here, let me throw some of this down in there. There it goes. There. Let me get some of the yellow in there. Maybe some of that blue with the white. Okay. And we'll kind of just toy around with it a little bit. There. Let's try to get that color down in here. Okay. There it goes. And we're just painting little blocks of color here and there. Nothing to concern ourselves with too much. Okay. Yeah, we actually did a pretty nice job there. If we want, we can give this a little tap just to maybe blend it some. I don't know. It's really up to you if you want to do that. You don't have to do any of that. Okay. Now I'll rinse this off. Okay. And maybe I'll start mixing some of these colors here. Yeah, get a little bit of fire going in that dark there. And, maybe I'll go back in here and reestablish a few darks and things. There she goes. Alright. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Maybe I'll go over here. Why not? There it goes. Okay. Now let's go ahead. Ooh, I didn't get enough paint off the brush there. Okay. We should go ahead and just tear off this because we're already wiping the knife on it so much already. There it goes. There it goes. It's donezo. Donezo. Okay. It's good now. It's all good. Ooh, do I have any paint on me? I don't think so. Well, we're all good. We just got a hair that's about ready to creep down and ruin my day. What else is new, right? let's go ahead and just throw some orange on these posts here so that they stand out. Okay. Right there too. Okay. There it goes. All right. And we'll get this one too. Okay. Right down, say here. Okay. So that's how we got those railings. Looking pretty smart, actually. Pretty smart. Here. Let's go ahead and insert, this over here just to get a little bit of the more of that railing that's gonna come on through. Maybe it's got a little bit of siding. I don't know. Here, have some of this. There. Oh, that actually looks really nice. Well, there's something to be said for painting with a round brush. Sometimes the colors go on a lot smoother like that. Oops. Oh, I am banging my palette all over this easel. This poor easel. Little hummingbird there. Sounds cute, doesn't it? A little bit. A little bit. Here. Here's what I'm going to do for this window. I'm going to take some of this blue. Okay. Right about this blue right here. I'll get a little bit of that color in there. Because why not? And I'll get some of the ultramarine too. Okay. Actually, I'll get a lot more of the ultramarine. I'll throw some more white on it. Okay. And right here, we'll here. Let's go ahead and take the knife for this one, because I have a feeling my brush isn't going to handle that. I should know better. I really should. But yet, here I am. Trying to brush on these simple things with my round brush. Oh well. Oops. Let's go ahead and take the small side of this. I'm going to take my little palette knife here and okay. Here's what that bad boy should look like. Whew. Right there. Right there. Alright. Since there's a little bit of a mid-tone color that kind of envelops the window, let's get it right here. Oh, did I not get enough medium? Thought I got enough medium. Sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. Here. I'm going to anchor my pinky on the easel like this, and delicate work right there. Okay, that's about enough of that. Alright, real delicate stuff right there, I know. Okay, So let's take a little bit, maybe, of the green, and some more of the blue. Alright, pull that color out and add a little bit more white to it. Okay. Alright, so this color, we'll pull it out, cut across, and right about, we'll say, here to right here is where we want our glass to be for the lighthouse. Okay, that's right there. All right, and then we'll add a little bit more white. For the other side, right here. Okay, right there. All right. Looking smart there, huh? Whew. Yeah, I'll say. And I don't know. Maybe we'll just three-tone this and add a little bit of the muck and the mire onto this with a little bit of the ultramarine. Yeah, that's how we'll do it. Just get a little bit of the muck and mire in there. Okay. I think that's about right. Here. This is how we'll do it right there. Right there. Okay. Looking good. Looking good. Whew. Okay, well that was an interesting turn of developments. Yeah, we got that pretty handily, didn't we? Yeah, we did. I must say, that turned out better than I imagined it would. It's always a good feeling when that happens, right? Alright. Alright, let's add some more ultramarine to all this. And maybe we can finally get a nice color that we like. Alright. Maybe we'll add a little bit of the mud in there. Just to get it all interesting like. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Pull that out and give it a little cut, and then we'll go in here. Okay. And we'll cover this. Alright. So we got all that covered. Got all this covered. And with the very edge, we're going to cover. Angle my knife up there. Sometimes it is just easier to use the edge of your knife when you're angling it up. Okay. Yeah, we're really looking up at this thing, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Jeez. I was not expecting to look up so high at this. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's take a little bit of this and just throw it down in there. And then maybe we'll take a little bit of that and just throw it down here. Maybe just like that. Okay? Okay. And then, I don't know. Maybe I'll take a little bit of the red here. That vermilion. And we'll get kind of a brighter, kind of violet-ish color. And then we'll... Okay. And then I'll just do this. There it goes. I'll take the color that I mixed up here and bring it over into this white pile where there's a whole bunch of different mixes and stuff going on. That way That way, maybe it'll be a lot easier for me to paint this. You know, as we go around, maybe the color gets a little darker. So we paint that a different color right up there. Alright. Or that might be too dark. There it goes. Okay. So we got that. And over on the other side, you know. That round brush is getting rather flat there, isn't it? It's a little misshapen. Better be careful with my brushes. They might rebel against me too. If I keep at this for too long. Here. Let's give this guy a little something right here. Okay. Maybe we want to, I don't know. Let's go ahead and maybe there's a little bit of a hint of something right here. Yeah, maybe. Here, I got an idea. For a color. Let's tap that right there. Maybe that can be our suggestion of a little doorknob. Right there. Okay. We're having too much fun. Guilty as charged. Okay. Little hummingbird. That really rang the bell on that last one, didn't he? Yeah, it did. Okay. Let's see. Let me see what we can do here with our limited time left. Let me go in maybe a few places and stuff. Because maybe right here and yeah, that's looking good. Here, maybe right here. Yep, right there. And I don't want to fool around with this too much, but we do have some nice stuff here. Okay. And maybe a couple of the edges. Okay. And maybe we just want to cover this up a little bit. There it goes. There you go. Here. Okay. Showed who's boss. Now let's go ahead and just get a little bit of a sense of more of this color right here. This is going to be a little bit of a violet color. This is just, you know, vermilion and the ultramarine, and that's about it. Maybe a little bit of white if you really want. You can add some stuff to it. Throw some mud on there. Okay. Yep. Yeah, just like that. Yep. And you know, when you're painting, sometimes take a step back and see how it looks, because maybe you realize you followed up and that angle doesn't look right, like that one right there. Yeah. That one right there doesn't look quite right. So you can pull it all the way down, so it creates a little bit more. Of an angle on that did. And don't worry too much about if you cover a little bit of the window, because, well, it won't mind much. If you think it does, you can just cover up a little bit more down here. There. That might be too much here. There it goes. A little bit of a window for it. Alright. Last thing I want to do before I head out today is I want to take, well, let's take the color off of that. I know what I want to do. Let's take some of the orangey goodness that we have and mix it with some of this blue. Okay, and let's get ourselves kind of that reddish brown color, just like that reddish brown color, and we'll pull it out and cut through it, and right about here we'll make a little cut right there. Okay, and we'll make a little cut over here. Alright, and then just like this, we're gonna cut through this. Whew. And you know what might help is if I just take my knife and do that. Maybe if I take my knife and do a little bit of this, take my knife and do a little bit of this too, right there. Okay, and maybe we'll take the knife and do a little bit of this also, maybe right about here. Yeah, right about there. Okay, yeah, that's looking good. Do one more right in there, barely perceptible. That's there, here, just like that. Okay, whoops. Okay, I'm just going to smear that paint on the paper towels now because I'm not too worried about it. Alright, so here's what we can do with that. We can take some of this brown color, right? Brown color, and maybe we just graze it across all that. Okay, pull out, take the little side, and just graze it. Okay. All right. Take the little side, and that'll help you get all these little doodads and pieces over here. There. Okay, and that should be pretty good for that one. Now I'll go ahead and wipe that off right here with my paper towels. And then finally, let's take the liner brush. Get a lot of fluid on that one, a lot of that odorless turpentine. Then we'll go across right here, right here. Okay, and if you need more, go ahead and get it. We're just going with that real orangey color, the bright orangey color that we use to create a lot of the body of this. A lot of the body. Okay, just like that. Yeah, we'll go down this way too. Okay. And be sure Get the sides. Don't forget. Don't forget. Where do you think the sun is coming from? Where do you think the sun is coming from? Well, we'll just get these right here. We'll just get these. Yeah. That's all there is to that. Just like that. And if you want to touch up anything that you think you messed up, you know, you can go into that color. Just drag it across this. Okay. And this painting should be well on its way to being just about finished. Let's make sure that we got all these lines mostly right. Keyword mostly here. Sometimes I need to stand back from my painting because I get too close on it and, well, it gets to be a chore to handle. All right. We are pretty golden, I think. So let's go ahead and sign our name at this point because I think that we can call this whole painting done. I'm going to go down here and just like that. Yes. Okay. That's really all there is to it. Okay, let's rinse our brushes off. Okay, that one seems like it's pretty well set. We got some pretty dirty brushes here, don't we? Yeah, we do. Okay. Gotta show these brushes who's boss before we head out. Can't let them go on thinking that they gotta be dirty. No. We're not gonna do that. Oh, wow. That one got kind of stuck, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Here. That's better. And then we're gonna, wow. We got a few sheets there that got let loose. I don't know what's going on with that roll, but okay. Let's wipe this off. Okay. Now we'll take care of that knife in a second. We've got some other pressing matters to attend to right now, like the 2-inch brush, which still has a lot of paint on it. Is that clean? Ooh, I don't know. Okay, should be good now. Alright. Okay, that brush is clean now. And we got one more at least. Showed who's boss. Okay, that's good. Alright, so let's go ahead and wipe that off and let's set this palette down for a second. I think it's right here, I think. Okay. Maybe not. God. I tell you, your tools play tricks on you. They don't want to cooperate. I try to set the palette down and it just gets a bunch of color all over it. So thanks for that. Jesus. Let's try it again. Okay. Wasn't expecting to lose so much yellow on that one. Goodness gracious. You gotta keep your tools in line. Remember that. They're going to play tricks on you because they're mischievous. They think they know everything. They think they know, we're going to create our work of art on our own. And like, yeah, right. When have you ever seen any tools at all ever create a work of art on their own? They think they know, don't they? Yeah, they think they know. They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing that you didn't tell them. Okay. Yeah, there's that. Alright. I believe all of our tools are clean at this point. Yep. We're about good, I think. Alright. Well, I think that's about all the time that I have for today. So it's about time for me to head out now. I really hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you have a lot of fun with it. And I really recommend you give it a try because it's so interesting to look at things from this three-point perspective, and it's real nice to challenge yourself with different angles like this, where it's a worm's eye view. You're looking up at the world. Try it at least once on one subject and see how you do with it. I think you're going to enjoy it a lot. Anyway, I'll be back soon, and until then, with love from me to you. Bye-bye.